Coach Diane Fu here over at the Ready State. We're going to tackle mobilization of the week. This week, we're going to chase after some spinal flexion, and our access point is going to be the Jefferson curl, right? Our spine not only needs to extend, which is, for many of us, the bulk of our time is spent in some sort of spinal extension. So being able to flex a little bit is going to be able to allow us to relieve some pressure in the back. Our spine also needs to be able to rotate and extend, rotate and flex, right? So having, normative function around the spine is going to yield, really good returns in not only life, but in the gym training as well. What I have here in terms of equipment is I have a box, right? 12 inches of height. It's our old school San Francisco CrossFit Memorial box. I've got a pair of weights. They're 15 pounds. They're pretty light, something I can easily control. And I've got a 35-pound dumbbell here on the floor, which we'll talk about in access later. Now, know that this box can be a stack of books, a stool. Just make sure everything feels safe, right, and stable. The weight can be a barbell, could be a kettlebell, could be a backpack with some books or cans or a bag of rice. You just need a little bit of load to add some overpressure to the system as we round down for our curl. Now, setup position-wise, I like to access the corner here because it just gives me a little more space to breathe. Now, before I start the motion to get it going, we're going to set up from the inside out. So I like to think about cueing the butt from the bottom of the gluteal fold. That puts my pelvis into neutral. I'm going to pull my belly button in a little bit, and already I can start to feel myself becoming more aligned. Now, to initiate the motion, we're going to think about tucking the chin, and we're going to appreciate that we're going to try to move as much as we can, segment by segment. And you can see that I can still talk to you. I'm under control. Right? And before I drop just all the way down to end range, I'm going to pause and start to return that up. And what that's going to signal to my brain is that we're playing in this line of motion that's safe and we're under control. And as I get deeper into the rep ranges, what I might also find is my ability to be able to release and go down a little bit deeper. Now, one thing that I'm doing that I want you guys to pay attention to is as I go down, I'm actually squeezing my quads. And by squeezing my quads, it asks my hamstrings to have to relax, which is also going to allow me to find some extra space down below. Now, what I can do is, after I've done, a handful of repetitions, something that feels good, call it 8, call it 10, call it 12 or 15, right? Just listen to your body. You're going to stay down there, and you can play around a little bit at end range with quad activation, and that you'll start to feel your body pull from the other side of your hip, right? Knowing that your hip is basically just the partition point between your spine and the rest of your body. Now, moving over, for me, sometimes the box just isn't enough, and I'm looking for a little bit more. So what I can do here, I'm just going to grab one of my weights. This also works really well for people that don't have a ledge or maybe get a little dizzy or vertigo-like when they're standing up and kind of moving up and down. So you can also find a way to get your feet or ankles, toes propped up on some kind of object. And what that's going to do is that's going to kind of tighten the line from the bottom up. Same organization point. I'm going to grab my weight, right? Tuck round. Quad squeeze, start to lower. And for many of you, you may end up getting blocked because we've taken up the slack on the other end. And this could very easily be an option in which you explore, right? For those of you that have a little more slack on the other end, you can take it, all the way down. For me, I've kind of run out of range here. But from here, same thing. You can play around and explore with a little quad activation, see if that starts to release some space down below, and then continuing under control to come up and extend back to mid-range and neutral. Spinal flexion this week via Jefferson curl. Have some fun with it. Now, know one thing before I let you guys sign off. Now, understand your body. If you have any type of disc issues, back related issues that are flexion related, this might not be the best exercise for you. Otherwise, keep it under control, spend about, call it 5 to 7 minutes working the Jefferson curl, and then that is your mobilization for this week.